Hello and good morning. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan, and this is Painting in Your PJs with Minette. I'm stopping by with a pre-recorded video this morning to talk a little bit about the 2025 100-Day Project. What is the project? Why should you do it? And what's my project going to be this year? Because if I say it publicly, I'm always a little bit more committed. So what is the 100-Day Project? So it is a global collective of thousands of people who commit to making art every day for 100 days, and it starts this Saturday, February 23rd, 2025. I love the 100-Day Project. I've done it 6 or 7 times over the last however many years, and I've rarely finished. And finishing for me often isn't as important as beginning. And I learned how much I love the beginning and the planning more than the ongoing creative. So those are some clues about what I need to do to fall in love with the project that I choose so that I can stick with it for 100 days. So the idea of the 100-Day Project is to inspire creative growth, but also consistency in your practice. I have a lot of people ask me about how do you produce so much, or wow, it just seems like you're always finishing projects. Now, I love a good finished project. But for me, the 100-Day Project is that commitment to myself that making art is important. And for me, making art is also very personal. It's part of my personal growth path. It's how I explore stories, express my emotions, heal some of those old wounds that seem to linger in our later years or often emerge into the light to be released. And this year, I'm having a ton of fun doing that kind of parts work, that looking at all the different aspects of myself through the lens of paper dolls. If you have been following my channel, in January, we started a year-long exploration, a weekly exploration called the Paper Doll Chronicles. And I am having so much fun making these dolls. I put her way over there, but I just finished my Inner Muse is what we have worked on so far in February. And in tomorrow's class, today, no, it's only Tuesday, in Thursday, February 20th, we're going to make an inner critic doll. And I think she's going to be really important, both of these dolls, on this 100-day journey. So I have decided to do 100 days of hand-drawn paper dolls. And I am going to show how I do this in another video, probably not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And I have already started because one of my secrets to the 100-Day Project is what's called batch creating. I want to be prepared. So I have done a bunch of these, and these are going to be, oops, my camera's being freaky there. Sorry about that. That one's really light, but I can't wait to paint these and dress them up. All right, sorry for that silly camera. Let's do this because this is a lot easier. There they are. Now you can see those faces. So I took a bunch of images from an old Vogue pattern book that I found that's really wonderful, and I think I have the other one here, and I cut them out and use them as inspiration. I found two of them at a local antique mall, and look at all these different poses and these different faces, different styles, and these made great templates. And you could even cut these out and use these as paper dolls all on their own. And maybe some of my dolls will be that way. But one of the things for me about the 100-Day Project is always about picking a project that inspires something I want to get better at. And so for me, drawing faces is something I've worked on a few different times. And I did a set of exploring different styles of faces a couple of years ago for a deck of cards. And for these, I'm thinking there's going to be maybe an art journal that goes with them, or maybe they're going to be on tags that I can add to an art journal. So I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do with all these dolls that I create. But as you think about, should I do the 100-Day Project or not? Last year, or maybe the year before, I created a video on how to use mind maps to explore your 100-day project, to explore ideas. So, the things to think about when you're committing or not committing to do the 100-day project is it fun enough to keep you going for 100 days? Is it simple enough? Like one of my dear friends one year, she was committed to getting better at drawing and she did parts of faces. So one day she might do eyes or noses or mouths. And so think about how can it be small? Amy Miracle just did her super fun inchy challenge. It could be a small, tiny drawing every single day. So, one of the things that I learned fastest was not to have big, complicated projects, that it needed to be something that I could work on 15 minutes here, an hour there. And it had to have enough variety and interest that I would stay committed for 100 days. Now, I can tell you that's just over 14 weeks. I can tell you that I'm not going to want to do hand drawn paper dolls for 100 days. I'm probably going to want to do something different. So, some of them may be collage, some of them may be cutouts from somebody else's beautiful Etsy shop, and there's some amazing paper dolls on there. Some of them may be ones that I create using AI designs that I create, and there's so many possibilities with paper dolls. But why paper dolls? Because for me, the project also needed to be connected to what I believe is the most important part of the creative practice, as well as what I teach in my company, Mindful Patterns. And that's about how can we use art as a powerful tool for personal growth and self-discovery. And paper dolls are a beautiful exploration of working with parts of self. And one of the best explorations or teachings around parts of self was SoulCollage. I became a SoulCollage facilitator way back in 2012. It was a process that I loved. I don't generally teach it anymore as my art and the way that I work has evolved. But one of the most important things that I think Seena Frost helped us all do with her creation of Soul Collage cards are what she calls netters. And netters are simply aspects of ourselves because we do contain multitudes. We contain many aspects of self. It's become very popular to talk about parts work lately with Richard Swartz's brilliant body of work around internal family systems. There's amazing coaches and therapists out there supporting people with parts work. And then also with my coaching certification with Kat Carasello around Jungian depth coaching, we talk about ages and stages of development and different parts of self. And paper dolls are a beautiful mechanism to work with parts of self. So I'm going to pull on all these different things that I love and that I know and have been studying for decades, first as an educator and then as a coach and an artist, is this idea of exploring parts of self and learning to dialogue with those parts of self. So you are welcome to follow me along this journey. I will probably be posting or sharing about once a week, separate from my current weekly experience, about what I'm working on that week. And I want to really do some deep work and some deep healing of my own around some of these parts that are lingering, that have a lot to say and maybe aren't always serving me. So a lot of times we have this conversation in our heads about what we want to do, should be doing, need to be doing, including the 100-day project. So as you go down this path of the inner day of the 100-day project, the question that popped into my head this morning was all around who's directing your inner chorus. And Debbie Ford had a great exercise called Who's Driving the Bus, where all of our parts of self are riding on a school bus, and to pay attention to who's in the driver's seat of the bus. This is such important work. And for me, music's been on my mind a lot lately, and so I thought about who's directing my inner chorus. I don't know right now, today, I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is I'm going to create a symphony orchestra of parts and pay attention to who's showing up to play what role, what instrument, and how each of those is contributing to the whole integrated story of who is Minette? Who am I being? Who am I at 60 years old? And what kind of director do I want to be? And am I even directing my own chorus, or am I in the back banging some percussion or hiding behind a cello somewhere? So, all of these things are on my mind as I get ready to think about the 100-day project. What I learned from starting 100-day projects over and over again and not always finishing was that I love starting. I get bored really fast. But also, I learned what I loved as an artist. I learned what drew me in, what kept me going. And variety is one of the things that keeps me going. So I know this project is going to grow and expand beyond what I can do right now. The other thing I learned about starting was the importance of batch creating, which counts. So one day I sat down watching TV this past weekend with my husband, and I drew pages and pages of these hand drawn dolls on watercolor paper. My next batch creating experience will be to paint the faces. The next one will be to collage. And once I have a set of them made, then it's easy to spend a few minutes here and there bringing them to life with collage or drawing or painting elements. So, again, thinking about a project that you know you could commit to for 100 days. Maybe it's 100 days of slow stitching and you work on a snippet roll and every day you spend 5 minutes adding stitches. Maybe you make a book, one junk journal, and you paint in it every day for 100 days. The most important thing is that the project is meaningful, that it keeps you inspired and joyful, and that is something that you're not going to get bored, because one of the biggest challenges we have as artists and creatives is that we get bored quickly and then we want to move on to something new. And I want you to consider taking on the 100-day project through the lens of I'm starting. You don't have to commit to finish. Maybe you just commit to beginning and see what you think. But imagine what might be possible, what might be different if you completely flip the switch and made art for 100 days instead of saying, I want to make art, or I don't know how to carve out time, or I don't know this or that. But instead, you simply made art every day for 100 days. I encourage you to give it a try. Thanks so much. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan. This is Painting in Your PJs with Minette, and I will see you guys live very soon.